What is up, guys? It's Mature Deity, and whether this is the first time watching me or you're following along with my guide series, this will be the gear guide. Dude, this thing took forever. So, those of you guys getting into this, first thing, before you follow this guide, I have a little thing I want you to do. I want you to go in, farm unrecorded history, get a bunch of charms. So, you look at my enhancement ingredients, this is a new account. I tell you guys farm unrecorded history. That's where you're going to get all of your left side charms and your boot charms. And then you're going to get a bunch of this powder from selling the gear. Next up, I want you to do your labyrinth. So you do your labyrinth and you buy your right side charms from that. You'll also have some consumables with some charms, especially you new players. Other players will have some of those from doing Automaton Tower. But those of you guys that have gone through, make sure you do your labyrinth before you go into this because you will trade in all of your ancient coins for some charms here. Okay? This will be your overall charm stash. Next up, before you follow this gear guide, I want you to make sure you have 10,000 crafting materials, okay? This guide is a 10,000 crafting material guide. The overall goal of this guide is to walk you through. I have a bunch of slides, a bunch of gear examples, everything that I could possibly think of that you could need. I'm sure I'll end up thinking of more, but for the time being, we will go through the 10K together. I'll show you slides, I'll show you general rules, and then we'll hopefully be good with gearing. But the idea of this video is every time you get 10K, while you're still unfamiliar with crafting, you come back and follow it again, and you follow it again, and eventually it will start sticking, everything will work out, and that is the overall guide. So let's go ahead and get into the crafting. All right, here we go. Slideshow time. Now, with getting into Wyvern crafting, why are we starting with Wyvern? All Wyvern sets give extra stat bonuses to help stabilize early builds. All right, getting the extra stats from the different sets allow you to get the stats needed to make those characters usable. Almost all units in the game can use speed gear until you get specialized gear for them. So say certain characters that would be on counter set can probably work on speed set until you get that counter gear. Then once you get that counter gear, then you have an extra set from speed set that you took off that character that you can now move to another character. So getting as many characters geared is the overall goal with trying to do Wyvern first. Lastly, every single piece of gear has a highest chance of being usable versus other sets. So with speed set and the other sets, any speed you get on them is just going to be way more value. And other pieces of gear, if you roll speed on them, it usually isn't as good as the Wyvern pieces. So the overall general piece you roll will have a higher chance of being used. Next up, we have the types of gear. So we have speed set that gives you 25% buff on a 4-piece set. Most efficient set for units built over 230 speed. So if you're going for damage dealers over 230, you're going to want speed set. If you're going under 230 and you have really good destruction gear, you can go destruction. But any character that's going to be above that, it's going to want speed set, which is a large percentage of the characters in the game. Now, speed set is just the universal set. It can be used on damage dealers, soul weavers, tanks, supports, debuffers. Any type of role in this game can generally... Next up, we have our critical set. Critical set is going to be giving us 12 additional crit chance for 2 pieces, which is basically getting 2 free rolls of stat for that gear, right? So 12 crit, fantastic. And it helps you build your damage dealers early because damage dealers are hard at the beginning because you need to roll the crit chance, okay? You want to get your characters as close to 100% or a 100% crit so they are a consistent damage dealer. And that's just is going to help you with the early game builds. Now, eventually, you'll be moving some of this crit gear off your characters once you get overall better gear because you'll have higher gear rolls. You'll be able to get that crit chance on your other piece of gear to where you can switch in and get your torrent and penetration sets. So critical gear is always used on damage dealing characters. Lastly, we have our hit set. So hit set gives an extra 20% effectiveness for 2 pieces, which is great, right? Effectiveness max roll is 8, reforges to 9. So it's basically 2 free rolls just for having a 2-piece set, same as crit set. Next up, it's always almost always paired with speed set. So generally when you're rolling hit set, you are going to want to make sure it has speed substat. There are some rare exceptions, but that is a general golden rule, is if you're using hit set, you want to have effectiveness, bulky stats, as well as speed. Okay? Now, it can roll high HP and defense, and you can use it on tanks as well if it doesn't roll speed. That's the overall general idea of hit set. Great set to have to mix with your early game characters. Now, rolls of crafted gear T85. So this is T85 gear. You should never craft anything and level up anything below T85. You can get to the point where you're farming the max hunts and getting the highest crafting materials within the first few days of playing the game. These are the roll ranges. So you see the roll ranges here. Min roll is left, max roll is right, so it can go from 4 to 8% on most stats, and then crit chance is 3 to 5, crit damage 4 to 7. And the only difference between the two is going to be speed can be 2 to 5 on red. The minimum a speed piece can roll, or minimum speed a piece can roll if it's a red piece of gear, T85, is 2 speed. A purple piece of gear can roll 1 speed, and it feels bad. Okay, you do not want to get 1 speed rolls, but sometimes it is what it is, and the piece could still end up being really fast. Next up, we have reforging. So reforging is a mechanic in the game to where once you get a piece of gear that you're happy with, that you're going to use, you'll reforge it. You don't need to stress about what to reforge, what not to reforge. You get a ton of reforged materials through farming, through different things you do. You get reforged boxes to pick materials. The biggest thing is if you're going to use a piece of gear, you want to reforge it. Now, reforging adds additional stats based on how many times you roll into each stat. This is a little bit hard to explain. You pretty much need to see it to fully understand it. And most of the things with crafting is you need to see it to understand it. That's why I did the guide this way. You can follow along with me, and then you can go back. Once you get another 10,000 materials, go through it again. It'll all start making sense the more you do it, okay? And you're going to make mistakes. You're going to not understand what you're doing. That's Epic 7. But it takes not that long to learn. Once you do, it's not that complicated. So as you see on the screen, I won't read all this, but that's what can change. So you have your things can go up by 1 roll depending on the stat. If you roll an additional stat into it, it can go up 3, and then every one past that's an additional 1. Crit chance and crit damage is +1 per roll, and speed is +1 per roll after the initial roll with a max of 4. So if you have a red piece of gear that rolls into speed all 5 times, it can only get +4 from reforging. Okay, that's the general basic rules. Next up, we have conversion boxes. Conversion boxes are one of the most valuable items for players. Okay, this boxes, every chance you get to get one, get it. It allows you to pick the right side main stat of your gear if you're if you're converting right side gear. So your necklaces, rings, and boots. You can choose to have speed set main stat boots, choose to have HP main stat necklaces and rings. You can choose to have attack percent main stat rings, and you can choose crit damage main stat neck. Those are the general 4 best for new players. Eventually, you might have some weird characters you're gearing, and this is a fantastic way to go get those weird pieces and aim for that strange right side main stat piece. Now you'll have your blue conversion pieces, which will just be used for getting your swords, necks, and helmets. Swords, helmets, and chests is your blue ones. And then from there, you'd never want to trade your blue boxes in for those regular blue ones until you're really late game and need that one super specific piece. Early game, you want to try to use them on right side gear because it's really hard to get right side gear. Next up, we have substat change stones. So substat change stones are used to change a substat of a piece of gear. You cannot change the main stats. These substat change stones are fantastic items in the game, and not too complicated to use. The biggest thing to know is if you roll into a stat more than 1 time off the initial roll, then you do not want to change that gear, okay? 2 rolls is the maximum change you will do. If it rolls into a stat 3 times, including the beginning roll of all gear counts as the first roll, okay? Keep that in mind through everything you hear me talk about. When you get a piece of gear, the rolls that it starts with are the initial rolls. They count as rolls. Then the first roll going into it is the second roll. If you roll it again and it goes into it again, that's the third roll. You do not want to change any substat that has 3 rolls. Now, if it is going to just be a single substat change, it will be at maximum value, okay? That is, you're going to end up changing a stat on almost all the gear you upgrade. This is one of the greatest things they added to Epic 7. It makes it to where your chance of having a good piece of gear skyrocketed, or at least a usable piece of gear. An absolutely amazing thing they added a few years ago. Next up, we have epic crafting. As you're doing your wyvern crafting or any kind of crafting, you're going to be building up mileage. So once you build up the mileage to the max of the bar, every time you do it 1 time, you're going to be getting 1 epic craft. Epic craft can be utilized to choose the set of whatever you're crafting, and it will always be an epic piece of gear. So usually with these, we always go speed stat at the beginning, and then we craft that, and we have an epic piece of gear that hopefully ends up either high rolling or having speed for us to roll on. And that is always going to be used on left side gear as new players, meaning swords, helmets, and chests. Always left side gear for epic crafting. Next up, General rules for new players. Extract all gear that you are not rolling. Okay, if there's a blue piece of gear, you're going to extract it immediately. If there is a piece of gear that just has terrible subs or just doesn't make sense, you're going to extract it. Now, if you upgrade a piece of gear at all, whether it's just a check to see if it goes into speed, or you roll it and it's a piece of gear you wanted to roll high and it rolled low, you'll extract or you'll sell it. You want the charms back. So any gear that's upgraded, you sell. Any gear that you don't upgrade, you extract. New players, you want to extract everything because you need a ton of conversion stones or conversion materials. The more conversion materials you have, you can trade those in for charms, and you can utilize your blue boxes, which we just talked about. Okay. Next, you will need a big stockpile of extraction for early game trading for boxes. Always roll speed gear that starts with speed substat. Excluding boots, a 1 speed piece can be 21 speed. So if you get a sword that's speed set with 1 speed, a lot of people don't roll those. I don't understand why, because that's still a 21 speed potential piece, and 21 speed on speed set is amazing. I've gotten multiple pieces of gear that are 20 speed that started with 1 speed. It is always worth checking speed set with any speed roll whatsoever, and the same goes for red gear. Any red gear with any speed roll, you are always going to check it no matter what the set. Another list of general rules is if a piece is low rolled, you'll get rid of it. So go back and look at the roll page, understand the min and max rolls. If you watch me craft, I'll explain it as I'm going. Big note is while I'm crafting, I'll be going relatively fast. So you're going to have to try to follow along the best you can. There's no great way to teach gear crafting. I'm going to tell you right now, there's little ways we could do it, but there's so many variables that go into it that everybody crafts differently. Every in-game player is going to look at gear differently. So this is the best option I could come up with to do it. Now, another rule is if a piece has effectiveness and effect res as substats, usually it's a bad piece. Speed can save that piece of gear, but almost always if the piece has effectiveness and effect res, if it's purple especially, you're always just going to sell it or extract it, one or the other. Next up, if a piece has multiple flat stats, pretty much the same as effect res and effectiveness together. If you have 2 flat stats together, a lot of times it's just dead unless it has speed. If it has speed, you can save it. Always speed can save pieces. And sometimes you could change stone both these pieces as well. So there's going to be examples. The more you craft, you're going to eventually run into those pieces. You're like, this is pretty good. And if you roll on it, you're like, okay, it's rolling high. I could change one of the flat stats. And overall, it's pretty solid. Those are pieces that you'll eventually learn. But for an early rule, if you see that, just go ahead and probably get rid of them. Now, next up, if a boot has a flat main stat, you're going to extract it immediately. Okay, a flat main stat that isn't speed. 99% of boots that you will use in this game are speed main stat. You will use some attack percent ones for PvE. You'll use some attack percent ones for a couple damage dealers in PvP, and then a couple HP percent main stats for a couple characters in PvE. Maybe defense main stat boot on, there's maybe 2 characters that could use it. So overall, it's at least 98% of all characters in the game will be on speed main stat boot generally. Okay, that is just the overall how Epic 7 is designed. Now, next, if a piece is a right side piece, meaning that it is a necklace or a ring, necklace, ring, flat stat with no speed, instant sell. Okay, instant extract, instant sell, get rid of it right away. You will never roll a piece of gear that is right side without speed with a flat main stat. Next up, we have the overall rolling strategy. Okay, I will talk about this as we go through. This is it put into a little bit of text form. I won't read through all this because we're going to be explaining it while I'm crafting. You can come back and read this page if you want to see the overall, what I'm talking about, just as a text format. Next up, we have our equipment score and final notes. I will talk a little bit on this. Gearing is not as crazy as everyone makes it sound. It's not that hard. It is hard to learn, but it only takes like 3 hours to learn, at least the basics, okay? As long as you go in and try, it takes maybe 2 crafting sessions. Do this video 2 times and follow along with me, and you'll probably be good to go. Okay, you'll at least have a general base understanding and could go from there. Next up, don't stress about making mistakes. We all did. Everyone playing Epic 7, any in-game player, when we first got into the game, especially when the game first came out, we had no idea what we were doing. We had a general idea and thought we knew. But going back, if any in-game player could go back to the start of their account, if they've been playing since release, they would have so many banger pieces of gear that they just lost out on, and it's going to be fine. It does not matter if you lose a piece of gear, if you upgrade the wrong piece of gear, sell the wrong piece of gear. You're getting gear all the time. Okay, you're going to eventually get that piece again. Maybe it'll even be better than whenever you accidentally either stop rolling it or rolled a terrible piece that you can't ever use. You're going to make mistakes. Don't stress. It's fine. Next up, equipment score can be used as a tool to judge gear, but don't think too much on it. As a new player, looking at gear score or equipment score in-game is nice, but sometimes that equipment score can be a terrible piece. Okay, I have a 106 equipment score piece that's in one of the upcoming slides that you could see. Completely useless. Don't know where I'd ever use it, but it has a really high score. So score isn't everything, but is a general decent guideline to follow. And you kind of know if you have a red piece of gear that's at least 94 equipment score and it has decent substat synergy, then you're going to be good to go with that piece. You'll be able to use it probably forever. Okay. There is no set number for equipment score that is good or not good. Everyone's always asking, what is the number? The number doesn't matter. A lot of people will tell you a number and then you'll end up having a piece with a wasted roll. So technically you need to subtract 8% off that piece and then they're happy with that piece even though they shouldn't be. That is a very risky thing about telling people an equipment score guideline to go with. Next up, gear does not have to be insane to be usable. Been trying to preach this for years. Okay, I push new accounts up to champion RTA multiple times a year. Okay, your gear does not need to be very good. You just need to learn the game and learn the characters. As a new player, as long as your gear has synergistic substats, even if it isn't very high rolled and you put it on the right character and meet certain stat thresholds, at least for your damage dealers, it's gonna work out. It's not gonna be that big of a deal not having the greatest gear as new players. And the thing is, you need gear. So even if it's better to have mediocre gear than it is to have no gear. Okay, that is the mindset you need to have. Upgrade pieces. Try to follow along. The gear is okay, and you think you can use it, use it. It's better than not having any gear whatsoever. People are way too picky getting into this game with gear, and the people that teach gearing in this game teach it, and they teach people to be too picky. There's no reason to be that picky. I've watched people with the goblin gear currently in the game beat up people all the way up to Challenger RTA super fast, using almost all goblin gear. Okay, and goblin gear can't roll high. So gear is not that important. It's about learning the game and learning character picks into different teams. That is the more important thing, is overall knowledge, not your gear. Gear can be important later on as you climb, but early on, don't stress about not having crazy speed, crazy gear score. It's not a big deal. You will get that over time. Next up, Discord will be your best friend. When you're learning gear, Discord's just a place to go. You craft some pieces, you don't know why or if you should roll it. Take a picture of it, post in Discord, ask, do I roll this and why? Someone will answer with, should you roll that gear and why? You'll have your answer right away. Learning gear alone is hard. Okay, I didn't learn gear alone. I learned from other old content creators. Okay, that's how I got into Epic 7. I started about 3 months late and I watched other people roll gear. And it took me a long time to learn it. I had never played a game like this before that had gear like this. It took me a while to understand everything and figure out how I can min-max and learn it. So that's just part of it. It will take you some time. You don't expect to start Epic 7, start crafting gear, and immediately know exactly what you're doing. It's going to take you some time. You're going to make mistakes. I've already talked about this 5 times. And that covers the main things that I wanted to talk about. So let's get into crafting. So I wanted you guys to get 10,000 materials. And we're going to do 3 10x swords, 3 10x helmets, chests, 4 of necklaces, rings, and boots for a total of 9,860 total materials. Then we're going to do some epic crafts, which will eat up the rest of your materials. Hopefully you're a little over 10k. If you aren't, then it's fine. You'll just go grab a few more. So what I'm going to be doing with this, I'm walking you through every section. I'll be talking about it, going over what I can think of at the time, doing the best I can to help, okay? If you guys follow along, maybe do this once now, go farm up another 10k, come back and follow it again. Once you follow it, I think 2 times and hear everything I talk about, eventually it'll all start sticking and it'll make sense. The first time you watch this, it might be overwhelming, and I'm sorry. But there's so much with gear crafting. It's not that complicated, but it is at the same time at first. Once you learn it, though, it's not complicated at all. It's super, super easy. Next up, we're going to sell anything that we do not roll to check. All epic crafts we do at the end will be swords, helmets, and chests. And then we will focus even more on right side gear as new players, because you're going to be extracting those pieces and using your conversion boxes to aim for specific right side main stats. All right. Now, if you are a returner to this video, you probably didn't watch all the talking parts, but if you are, then maybe do less on your right side gear, your rings, necks, and boots, depending on how many conversion material or how many conversion gems / blue boxes you have. So you can min max, do different ways of crafting than I do, but this will at least cover each different thing and talk about it. So long video, have fun watching. Hopefully you guys get something from this. Again, I think if you watch it 2 different times with 2 different sessions, it's going to stick. At least some of you, maybe the first time will stick, but I wanted to structure it in a way that multiple watches will maybe get you to where you need to go. So it's been Mentor Deity. I will see you all in the crafting portion. Real quick, I do have a couple of slides that I show a couple examples of gear. So not every example possible, but here's just a couple examples of some of it's really good gear, some of it's just usable gear, but it's examples of gear. So you can look at those kind of pieces, get an idea of what a decent piece or really good piece of gear looks like, and then go from there. So you have a few examples for every different type on screen right now. I'll let these play, and then we'll go ahead and get into crafting. Okay, after walking you through the slides, we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so as you looked at the previous slide, the goal is we're going to be doing 3 10 crafts of swords, 3 10 crafts of helmets, 3 10 crafts of chest, 4 10 crafts of necks, 4 10 crafts of rings, and 4 10 crafts of boots. That should be 9,860 total. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to explain the rules as I'm going. Hopefully this will help you. We'll just start with swords, one step at a time. I'll throw, before we get going on each one, I will show the sword examples, and then we'll start rolling. Obviously, there's a bunch more gear possible, and this will only be covering wyvern gear, but once you learn these basics, you'll be able to carry it over to the other types of gear crafting. So let's go ahead and let's do our first 10 craft. And again, immediately extract all blue pieces. You need those conversion materials for getting your charms. I will show you all of that as well. So now we go into this. I taught you max rolls and min rolls, so I'm going to go through this relatively quick because I don't want this video super long. So if you look at this, effectiveness and attack, if you refer back to that page, can roll 4 to 8. Okay, these are 4 rolls. That's 2 min rolls already. So generally all purple pieces just end up being an immediate extract unless it's fully maxed out, okay? So unless it's full, every piece is basically maxed out of what it could be because red pieces are just generally way better. There are some exceptions. We'll go over those as they pop up. But for right now, this piece, low rolled, this piece has effect res and effectiveness. Another one of the rules, generally a piece that has both without speed will always be trash. This next one you look here has a flat stat mixed with crit chance and crit damage. It's a purple piece of gear, meaning we lose a roll versus a red piece. It has a 4 roll crit chance, that's a middle roll, and a 5 roll crit damage roll, that's pretty low. So all of that immediate trash, plus the sets factor into it. But this is just going to be all instant extracts, okay? So go ahead and get rid of those. Now these 2 pieces have speed. Okay, referring back to the rule set, any purple piece of gear that has speed has potential to add 20 speed to whatever it starts with as a purple piece, okay? So this piece could technically be 22. The problem is it's crit set, and the problem is it's got HP and effect res. So HP and effect res do not mix with crit set, because what do you need crit damage for on a health or a health and effect res scaling character? There are none that are going to be good, and it's only starting with 2. But at the beginning of the game, you'll have to make your decision. Do you want to gamble on all these pieces? If you gamble on these pieces, this could be used as a broken set piece mixed with speed set. This goes 22 speed. You could utilize it for a 300 speed character. Okay, that's where you're going to have to take the gambles. This one, 2 speed, again, could be 22 with flat HP. Flat HP is not the worst on a sword, especially because it can't roll it can't roll defense, meaning that it's going to have a dead stat no matter what if you're going for a HP support build. So I'm going to roll these 2 pieces of gear. Okay, some of you guys, if you want to, say you don't have a lot of charms, you can set 3 as your minimum, But for right now, since I do have a good stockpile, that's why I always want you guys to get a stockpile, because you can take extra gambles. Extra gambles are always a fantastic thing. Okay, so going in, again, extract all blues immediately, and we'll go through. This piece is attack with effectors with a flat stat. Immediately going to get rid of. This is 4 speed. Always roll speed set pieces with any speed. Okay, even if it's 1 speed, that's still 21 potential if it rolls. Okay, and the rule is if it still has potential for 18 speed on speed set, we keep going. Okay, we have to take the gamble. Some of those pieces will end up being terrible. We'll sell them, or if they're at least semi-decent, 12 speed or so, we'll utilize them until later. Okay, until we get better pieces. This is HP effectiveness, and then a flat. It's a purple piece, not high rolled. Get rid of it. This piece has crit damage and speed, so this is one that we're going to gamble on until 18 speed. Any crit set piece of any set besides necklaces, which we'll go over that, you're going to gamble on the 18 speed no matter what. Okay, if it has either attack percent, crit chance, or crit damage, because you can change stone 1. You may end up still having a wasted stat, but if you can get 18 to 23 speed, it's a fantastic piece. This one is basically perfect. It's 1 off max roll. So max roll for attack is 8, crit chance is 5, speed is 4. That's the highest a purple piece can go. Missing 1, and that's perfect subsets for that. So we're definitely rolling. Here is a piece that has 4 speed. Definitely rolling it. 24 speed potential. Crit chance doesn't really mix with hit set, and neither does effect res. So the fact that this piece had speed saved it. We're still going to roll it. Next up, we have this piece. Has effect res, effectiveness, and effect res split. Basically already dead because it has no speed. Correct? Now, this piece is just trash. We're going to get rid of it. Next up, we have this piece. Another effect res, effectiveness, effect res split. That's hard to say. Holy cow. It's trash. It doesn't have speed. We're not going to go for it. If it was red with that split, we would potentially take the gamble on it, okay? Which hopefully we'll end up having one of those pieces throughout. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and extract these. And then we'll do one more 10 craft, all right? One more 10 craft. Let's see. Anything good? No reds yet. No reds at all. Okay. I mean, that's fine. Oh, no, there is a red there. Okay, so red gear, if it has speed, no matter what you roll it, okay? So every roll can go 4 speed, technically 5 with red, but that's like rare than getting a Moonlight 5. Cool. 5 speeds are super, super rare. But if you count the rolls, we have 5 rolls going into a red piece. That's 20 speed it can get, meaning this could be 23 speed before Reforged, 27 speed potential. It also has crit damage, so no matter what, we're gambling until 18. Okay, and it's pretty high rolled. It's only missing 1 there, and 1 there. So it's 1 off max roll on 3 different stats. Very solid. This is a speed set piece, only 2 speed, but guess what? It could be 22 speed set. We always take it. This piece right here is max effectiveness, max HP, and flat HP. Okay, this is the kind of gear that could be good if it max rolled. I'm going to roll it. If we hit the flat, it's dead. If we hit a low roll, it's dead. These are the pieces that no matter what, they will be dead immediately. But if this max rolls HP 3 times, it could be a super good piece of gear. Okay, next up, we have this piece. It has attack, crit damage, effectiveness. This would be a PvE style piece, but we never roll for PvE because our failed PvP pieces become our PvE pieces. So if you see a piece of gear like this, that looks like, oh, I could use this for PvE, because damage dealers do not need effectiveness in PvP generally, okay? Most damage dealers, you focus either any character that deals critical damage. The idea is you are not going to put effectiveness on them 99% of the time. There are a couple exceptions, but you will end up getting those pieces when going for red pieces that fail the rules, okay? But roll really high and you want to keep them. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to extract all of this. Now we have our 3 batches of swords. Hopefully I didn't do 4. I believe that was 3. Now we're going to go in and roll it. So right here, this one was, again, we'll check. If it doesn't hit speed, it's immediately dead. It didn't hit speed. It's gone to the wind. And now even if it hits speed, the overall goal is if it can still be 18 speed or above. Okay, that's what all the pieces are. And with 18 speed or above, as you go through this video and listen to me, you will understand that a little bit better. This one missed speed, meaning it cannot be 18 speed. So the idea with this is take 4 speed per roll. Okay, every 3 rolls you get a stat. Take 4 speed for each roll that's still available. So right here, a purple piece of gear, the 4th roll always rolls a new stat, meaning you lose 1 roll. Meaning that this piece only can get 3 more rolls into the stat. This can only be 17 speed. Okay, so 14 plus 2, and since it rolled into it 3 times, it reforges and gets an additional 3. So the highest this could be is 17 with some terrible other stats. Okay, I will talk about it a few times. Hopefully, as you watch this video and go back to the slides, that will make sense. Gear crafting is not that complicated, but it can feel complicated at the start. It is overwhelming. Again, the slide that said you can make mistakes, it's not a big deal. It's not going to brick your account to upgrade a couple pieces of gear that weren't great. I've rolled a million pieces of gear at the beginning that weren't great. My account turned out fine. So you will learn. Go with the flow. It's okay. One of the biggest resources I could say is my Discord server, or just Discord in general. It doesn't matter what server. When you roll a piece of gear, or say you don't know if you should keep rolling or if you should even roll the piece of gear, send a picture in Discord. Someone will tell you. It is very good to get help from other people. All right, so this piece, there we go. Okay, so this piece, after the first roll, it can still technically be 19 speed. Okay, the way you factor that on purple gear is the first roll that you missed out on was 4. And then since you missed that speed, that's 1 additional reforge that is going to be gone. So that 1 reforge speed plus your 4 speed drops the 24 speed potential down to 19. So when you have a piece of gear, whatever its starting speed is, add 20 to it. Every missed roll, subtract 5. Okay, so this one started with 4, so it was 24 potential. We missed the first roll on speed, it drops down to 19. But now, since it's 4 rolled, we got max value. This could still be 19. Okay, now we go into it, see what it goes. And it went into HP. So overall, once you do fail that second roll, when you get to the +9 or +6, if the other stats are high and have synergy, you can keep the piece of gear. Okay, you need to look overall, what's the overall stat value? So health, 2 rolls into health could be 16. This is 12, so it's 4 off. Now attack could be 16. It's only 10. That's 6 off. That's 10 equipment score that a purple piece of gear is missing. That means a blue piece of gear could be better than this at this point. So that's already a overall pretty bad thing. Now, if you rolled into speed, into a 2 speed, you'll have to decide, do you want to take the gamble? Because for some of you guys, you guys have been crafting for a while, and maybe this is, you're rewatching this and you don't have anything really above 14 speed, you got to take the gambles on some of these. Okay, so this piece right here, you could go all the way. This would go 12 potentially into 15 speed, which I would not suggest that. That's why I have the cutoff at 18, but you could change the cutoff to 16 speed. You need to make your account your account. You know the limitations, you know your overall gear. Okay, so if 16 wants to be your speed, just apply that rule. And whenever you have your starting piece, you add 20 speed to it. Okay, so this could be 23 speed. If I miss a speed roll, take 5 off, becomes 18. The max it could go is 18. And then if you want to set your limit as 16, that's fine. Okay, so this, as I said, its max was 23. It could still be 18 speed piece, and it does have crit damage. The issue is this is 2 minerals. Okay, 2 minerals. I'm not going to continue with this piece of gear. All right, 2 minerals is really, really bad. Okay. If it had middle rolled, maybe I'll try for it because it could still be 18, but I'm going to be a little bit pickier. There is the worst case scenario that can happen. Okay, so this piece had 24 potential speed with basically perfect substats. Purple pieces can roll 1 speed. So now, since this rolled 1 speed, we didn't lose the reforge extra speed because it hit it. When we reforge, we'll get the additional speed now. The issue is we lost out on 3 speed. So the fastest this piece can be now is 21. So we kept the reforge bonus and we got the 1 there. It means we out of the 5, we lost 3. All right. So now we'll go again though, because it could still be 21 speed with perfect subs. Okay, so that max rolled though. Now the fastest this piece of gear could be, we said it could be 21. Now it drops all the way down to 16, right? The fastest it can go now is 16, which is unfortunate, but everything's maxed out on it. It's 1 off max there. I'm going to go for it. As for a new player, this could be fine. Okay, then it min-rolled. If that had gone 4 speed, I'd go for it. It could go 16 speed with attack and crit chance. And that last stat, since your first 3 stats are synergized, you could change the last roll into crit damage. Okay, so the damage stat that it's missing has attack, has crit chance. The last one you'd want is crit damage. And you could change that. But it min-rolled. I'm not going to keep it. We'll get better gear. We're not going to be super picky. Next up, we have 4 speed here. We'll go in and roll it. And we did not hit it. This could still be 19 speed though, right? Started with 4. I'm going to go again. Usually with hit set, you want to make sure it either has HP, defense, or effectiveness to try for the 18 gambles. But so far, we're not getting anything, and we have plenty of charms. So why not? All right, so this is a piece that has 2 max rolls, and effectiveness and health do pair together on tanks generally, and then support characters. Problem with debuffing support characters is you always want speed on this. So this is a piece of gear that would go on a tank character like Arrowwell, or just a low speed tanky character. You'll learn the characters as you continue to play. All right, so that min rolled immediately, and like I said, if it rolls low, it's instantly gone. Next up, we have this. We'll go ahead and roll into it. And so it had 22 potential speed. After the first roll, it drops down to 17. So if you want to make 17 the cutoff for yourself, you can go ahead and go again, see if it goes to 6. And it did not. And then crit damage with a wasted stat and a low speed roll, overall low gear score. Let's get rid of it, our equipment score. Now this piece is going to be guaranteed a +9, right? Because this could potentially be 27 speed. So after the first roll, it'll drop down to... All right, that is a max roll, though, into HP. And there are characters that are HP scaling damage dealers, meaning that this could be an amazing piece. Or there are characters that do need effect res as well. A 2 speed is the minimum roll on a red piece of gear, okay? Red piece of gear, minimum roll for speed is 2. That's why red gear is always just safer to upgrade. You aren't going to get screwed over with, like you saw, the 1 speed roll. Now, this piece of gear, we've rolled into it twice. It has 3 different upgrades left. So every 3 levels, you get another upgrade to a stat. So with 3 left, the potential max of this, never factor in 5 speeds for red. It's just a random thing. You don't want to gamble with the 5 speed in mind unless it's potential 20. Okay, this piece of gear with 3 more rolls, it could get 12, and it's rolled into speed once. This could still be a 21 speed piece. Okay, I think I did the math right. All right, let's go in. And it rolled into minimum effect res. Overall, it lost so much equipment score from here. The only character I could see myself using this on is Arya. So this would probably be a dead piece of gear. A min roll here, a min roll here. It can't get that highest speed anymore. Now there's only 2 rolls left. It can only get 8, meaning this is 16 speed, has HP percent. It's not great, but on a new account, let's go ahead and go for it because we're already done with swords. That almost max rolled again. It got a +6, so that's, I guess, a mid roll. But overall, this is still fine. So now I'm going to talk about change stones. Whenever you have a piece of gear, you have the ability to use change stones. The ideal substat for this now would be changing the effect res to crit chance. One thing with change stones is all change stones are 1-to-1 value except for crit chance. Okay, so it's one thing that's going to be a little complicated, and you'll learn over time. I'll explain it now, though. When you change a crit chance, a stat to crit chance, the highest it could go is 4, but an actual max crit chance roll is 5. So say I were to change this crit damage, since it only has 1 roll, a change stone into it should give the max value. With any other stat, I could change this to HP percent, or, well, sorry, I could change this to attack percent because it already has HP. You cannot change to a stat the gear already has. So this 8 crit damage could be 8%. Or sorry, it could be 7%. I could change it to attack percent, and it could go all the way up to 8. And that is the max that a red piece of gear can roll on a stat. Now, if I change it to crit chance, though, the highest it can go is 4. After reforge would be 5. So no matter what, I'm losing value. Now, every time a stat rolls into another stat, and then you try to use a change stone on it, you're getting diminishing returns. So the effect res technically has 2 rolls into it. It has a starting roll and the secondary roll, right? Now, if I change that to crit chance, the maximum that can go, I believe, is 5, reforged to 6. It's not very good. But overall, the rest of the gear, it's a usable piece that has no wasted subs. As long as it doesn't hit effect res again. If it hits effect res again, it's max. That's fine. It's a usable piece of gear. I do not care. As long as it's usable, that's the overall goal. And it rolled 3 speed at the end, so that's perfect. Now with this piece of gear, I can either reforge it. A 96 equipment score piece is fantastic. Okay, so since it started so high, anything above, say, 92 for a new player, that's a great piece of gear. You'll be able to use that for a very long time. Eventually, your best gear you'll put on your core meta PvP characters, and then your worst gear you'll move down to your second string characters or down to your PvE characters. So that is the overall goal with crafting, is trying to get better gear for your current characters, or at least usable gear for other ones. And then as you get those good pieces, your other good pieces that are already equipped will trickle down. It's trickle down economics. So it will keep progressing your account. Everything will end up getting geared over time. And that is the idea with crafting. So that is Sword Up. That is a 96 equipment score sword with a min roll into the effect res. That's solid. We'll take it, and a min roll into the speed. Okay, so that is swords. You saw I got 1 piece of gear. Trust me, it's normal. You'll go through periods where you have a 10 craft or a couple of crafts, you get a bunch of really good pieces. You have periods where you just go through droughts. One of the things that saves that, though, is going to be the epic crafting, which I will show you soon. Next up, we'll go through helmets. The rest of it will be a bit faster. I don't need to double explain things, so don't worry. We'll get through it all quick. Next up, again, extract all blues right away. Then go from here. Any piece of gear that's purple that doesn't have great subs, you can go ahead and extract. So you see mineral, 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 flat stat plus effect res and crit chance, and then this mineral with effectiveness. So effectiveness, effect res split. This piece has speed, this piece has speed. Now this piece has effectiveness, crit damage, flat attack, and defense. Overall, this piece is everywhere, okay? So it's like a debuffing support piece, but also half damage piece. This is the kind of gear that rolled decently high, but since no matter how I roll this gear, there's no matter what going to be two pieces or two stats I need to change. So if I roll it for a tank, I have to change stats. If I roll it for a damage dealer, I have to change two stats. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. There is always going to be that weird gear, though, that would work on somebody. But getting rid of this early stuff now, when you're crafting, since you need so few of those weird pieces, they'll eventually pop up again whenever you do realize you need them. So don't ever be scared at the piece of gear. You have no idea what it could go on. First step, if you're super not sure, ask in Discord, send a picture. They'll tell you maybe what it could be used on, see if you have the character. Otherwise, just trash it. It will be okay. Now this piece of gear, it's hit set with HP at mineral, crit damage at mineral, flat attack, and defense percent. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it immediately. It's the same idea as that one. It's splitting up. It's trying to be half damage dealer, half non-damage dealer. This could roll to be usable. So this could be usable on a character, say Carrot, that's a debuffer, and maybe it rolls really high defense and HP. But otherwise, using too many charms on gear that is high gambles off the very start, and it's going to take a miracle for it to work out, I don't upgrade it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and extract all of these pieces now. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up. And then we're going to do 2 more helmets. Now, this is speed set, but it has effect res and attack, both not high rolled. Get rid of this. Again, get rid of your blue piece immediately. This piece has 2 flats on top of crit damage. Not great. This piece has crit chance, crit damage, or sorry, attack, crit chance, and defense, but the attack is 3 down, and it's a purple piece of gear with no speed. So it would take, again, a lot of stat to get this, like really high rolls to get this to be worth upgrading. Next up, we have another hit set piece. This piece has effectiveness, defense, and attack percent, and they're decently high rolled. But it has the effectiveness effector split with no speed. This, though, since it's on effectiveness set, this could be used for a 0 speed debuffer. As long as we dodge effect res, could be great. Even if it hits effect res, there are certain characters that require 0 speed that this could be good on. Okay, so we'll go ahead and roll that. This is speed set with it's got attack and crit chance and speed. Guaranteed roll, and this is speed set with speed, another guaranteed roll. So let's go ahead and extract all the ones, and then the last craft here. I know I'm talking fast, but the more you go through and follow this video and craft like alongside me every 10k mats, 2 or 3 watches, you'll be good to go. Everything will start making sense. All right, so this piece right here, it has max roll, almost max roll, speed set, it could be a debuffing character, for the low speed debuffing character. I'll take it. Probably would be more for PvE, but there are some PvP characters that could utilize that. So I'll go ahead and keep it. Next up, I'm going to get rid of this. It's effect res effectiveness on hit set with got crit chance. Don't need the crit chance. And then got a mineral effectiveness. So we go ahead and extract all this. And we are going to now upgrade all the gear. So starting with this one is a definite trying to reach 18 because it has attack percent and it has speed and 4 speed. So this could still be 19 speed. And it rolled effectors twice. This piece of gear is dead. Next up, we have the speed piece. This could be 23 speed. Now we subtract 5. It could still be 18 speed set. We're going again. And now it rolled a 2. So since it rolled a 2, you'll add the reforged to it and then subtract that from 5. So 3 total there from 5 is 2 that you would take off. Maybe that's a little too complicated. Another way to do this, though, is at plus 12, it's going to lose a roll. So this means at plus 9, you can get 1 more speed roll. And at plus 15, you can get another speed roll, meaning there's only 2 rolls left from plus 6 on a purple piece of gear. Each roll could be 4. Add 4 to 16, add 8 to 2 rolls is is 8, right? 4 plus 4 is 8. Add that to the 5, that is 13. After Reforge, since that's 3 rolls, it could be a 16 speed piece on speed set. I'm going to go ahead and gamble. Why not? I'll gamble. If it goes plus 9, I'll go. It did not. So as you see it, as you're going through your crafting, when you get closer to the end, you can take some extra gambles. But this overall is very low rolled. Go ahead and get rid of it. Next up, this piece has potential to be super, super good in a lot of ways. Right? We roll it. First one goes in speed. Beautiful. And we 3 speed, but that's fine. Second one is a 2 speed. That's fine. If it's hitting speed, we're happy. Next one will go in, and it goes a max roll into crit chance. That's fantastic. And we want the crit chance because it could be a super good damage dealer piece. Now, next roll, we go in, and it goes into crit chance again. That's a 4 roll. So it started with a min roll, but it's saving itself. Now it's got overall pretty decent crit chance gear score. The problem is it low rolled its speed. This could be 12 speed, but it 2 rolled and 3 rolled, so we're missing out on quite a bit of speed. But overall, this piece has no wasted substats because the defense we can change, right? So if we roll this and we hit defense, we could change the attack to either HP, and it could be a bruiser piece. If we roll it and it hits attack, we'll change the defense to crit damage. So no matter what, this is a usable piece of gear for a new player. Let's go ahead and plus 15 it, but I'm going to use charms only. And we hit speed. There we go. So there's a solid piece of gear. You look at the reforge of it, 95 equipment score. Once we change the defense to crit damage, it'll go all the way up to 97. 15 speed set on damage. Perfectly usable. Very happy with that. Now, next up, we have this piece. This piece, again, like I said, we're trying to dodge effect res. We want as high of rolls as possible. That is our only goal. So that rolled 6. That's a middle roll. That's okay. Next up, it rolled another 6. That's fine. There's 2 middle rolls. We can work with that. Then it rolled a 4, though. So this is where the piece becomes a gamble. If we hit effect res at all, it's going to be pretty mediocre. Okay, I'm going to go for it for the sake of the guide. And let's go into it. And it rolled effect res. So this piece of gear, overall, there are some characters that can use it. For example, one, I would say Rowana, but it's not great for her. And Harsetti wants HP, and this has no HP. So finding an actual home for this would likely be pretty hard. I definitely don't have a character on my account that could utilize this well. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. If you, again, are questioning a piece of gear, someone will be able to tell you what kind of character it could be used on. Now, this, again, starts 23 speed potential. We missed a roll, -5. It could be 18. Next up, go in. And it missed it again. So from here, that 18, now max is 13, right? Or 14. It's really low. Either way, we're done with that piece. Okay, next up, we got another speed piece. We pray for either high defense or speed. It rolled into the flat, could still be 19 speed. And it rolled into 7 defense. So overall, it's not the worst. That flat defense is overall the best flat stat that you can roll. So we're going to go again. And it went to 20. This could be a solid tank piece. So if we go all the way plus 12, no matter what it rolls on this, the problem is at plus 15, if it's defense again, it's not great. But these pieces are generally always safe if you're trying to build some kind of tank character. So I'll lock it. And then if we are in the middle of building a character, we can grab that, slap it on there if we find one that we want extra defense on, and we'll finish upgrading it. And then if we need to, we'll use a change stone, reforge it, should be fine. Now we have this piece. This is a just gear score checking piece. We want to see if it max rolls anymore. 6 roll, again, same as the other piece. 6 roll is not bad. A 5 roll is pretty bad. So now we're going to calculate it. Plus 6. This is missing 5% total what it could be on defense, because this could be 16 and this could be 16. So it's missing 7% stat already. I'm going to go ahead and stop because it's a purple piece. Missing 7% stat on a purple piece is really bad. Now this piece of gear, 24 potential speed. Substats aren't great on it. And it missed that. Could still be 19 speed potential. I'll go for it because we're already done with helmets. We still have charms left over. It did go. It could still be 19. We'll go again. And it could still be 19. So this is where the speed gambles happen, guys. So right here, this could still be 19 speed piece of gear. That's fine, okay? So we're going to go for it. 19 speed would be fantastic. The problem is when you have a piece of gear that the substats aren't great on, mix it with the set, and you fail it, it's going to be trash. Now, if this had either crit chance or crit damage and could still be 19, we'd be super happy. Because even if it fails, we could change one of the other stats to attack or crit chance or crit damage, whatever one it didn't have, and it's a usable piece of gear. But this is the kind of piece of gear that on plus 12, we are praying it rolls attack percent, crit chance, or crit damage at this point, and then we'll change the effect res. All right, so let's go to plus 12. I'm going to use Charms or Charm Dust first, though. We got crit chance. It's a mineral, though. So this isn't great. It's not great, but please go speed. That is our beg here. That's the only way this piece will really be saved. No matter what, it's usable. We can find use for this, but we want to... Dang, it didn't go. That is the gambling of speed, though. When you have plus 12 or plus 16, once you get to level 9 on purple gear, that's when the gambling kicks in. This is 9 crit chance. We could change the effect res or the health to another stat. And overall, it could be pretty good. So an idea for this piece could go on Arya. We could change the HP to defense to get max value. Having some effect res on her is not bad. All right. Now, the next piece of gear we're going to go into is the chest. So let's go ahead and craft through the chest. And, ooh, we got a couple speeds there. Again, immediately get rid of all of the purple pieces. This has no speed on it, and it has a mineral. Even though it's crit chance and crit damage, the thing with chests are they are super easy. They are a piece of gear that cannot roll attack percent, flat attack, or defense flat. So there's 3 stats it cannot roll, just like a sword. And since it cannot roll attack, that means for damage dealing characters, you're going to have a dead stat no matter what, whether it's going to be defense percent, HP percent, flat HP. You'll always have a dead stat, meaning you're super picky with your chest, which you should be. All right, let's extract. And now we need 2 more. Okay, going into here, let's go through and get rid of all the blues. And then if you look here, this is effectiveness, doesn't mix. This is minerals, doesn't mix with the flat. That has speed, we'll check it. This piece of gear has max defense and max HP though. I am gonna keep that. It has 2 rolls that are synergized. If it rolls good, we can change the crit chance if need be. But with the 2 max rolls, I'll go for it. This piece has speed. Doesn't have, again, it's like the other helmet. Doesn't have synergy, but it's fine. This piece of gear looks insane, though. This is 2 off perfectly max rolled. So it has 8%, 8% min roll on the crit chance, but it also has 4 speed. So that piece could be an absolute banger. So let's extract. Next one. This is the last chest, so 3 for each. And if you guys deviate a little bit, you'll be fine. If you accidentally do an extra craft with a 10k, just do 1 less 10 craft of another type. Okay, it'll be fine. So this piece is one that has crit damage and speed. So this could be 22 speed or 18 speed if it misses the first one. Definitely going for it. This has 2 speed set. Definitely going for it. 4 speed. This is a perfect almost example of a chest for hit set. Right? You want speed, you want effectiveness, you want HP, and you want defense percent. That is usually the go-to best case. Flat stat's fine though. So we have a bunch of chests to try out here. All right, all of these are great. So let's extract all the stuff we're not going to roll, and let's go into our chest rolling. From here, we're going to go, and this could be 19 speed even if it misses the first one. It hit the first one, it could still be 22. And then it goes into that. So 22 minus 5, the max it could be now is 17. So do we want to try for 17 speed? Why not? Why not? Let's do it. And we didn't get it. That's fine. Go ahead and sell it. Next up, we're going to have this chest speed set, 24 potential. Missed it, but that's okay. 19 speed potential, and we missed it, went to the flat. Now, if that would have went HP to 20%, getting any stat that rolls into it multiple times is always a good thing if it has synergy. So, flat HP is going to synergize with flat defense, flat HP, effect res, effectiveness, has a lot of synergistic stats that can go with it. Okay, so this, if it would have continued to roll, we wouldn't have cared about the 1 flat because we could also change stone it out if need be, but that didn't roll super high, and it's a purple piece. Next up, this piece could be absolutely insane in so many different ways. All right, and min rolled right away. I shouldn't have said it. And then it's gone into defense twice. The second roll was a 6 at least. Third roll is another 6. That's okay. Fourth roll is an 8. Okay, so this is overall pretty solid. When you get to plus 12, if you're above 70, you're doing good. Okay, the idea here is maybe we dodge crit chance and we change it to effect res. That would be probably best case scenario to get the most value out of it. If we don't hit crit chance, that means we're getting max value on our change stone because it has only single roll into it. We're definitely not changing the HP. Okay, so we'll go again. Please go anything but crit chance. I mean, okay, that's a solid piece of gear. Right here, if you go in, we'll reforge. See, it's 96 equipment score. If we change the crit chance to effect res at a max roll, it's almost 100. That's a super good tank piece. Okay, very happy with that. Next up, we go to this. Try to roll it, see what we got. We didn't hit speed, still potential 18 speed. And now it's dead. Okay, 2 low rolls into effectiveness, not great. Here's a piece that has HP, so this 8 on 18 speed would be great. So we'll go again since it missed. And it didn't hit it. We're not going to go any further. Next up, we have this piece. This is a max roll check. So we don't want to hit crit chance, and it did. It max rolled defense. So we don't want to hit crit chance. If we max roll anything but crit chance, we're happy. That's a 7 roll. That's pretty good. Even if it max rolled crit chance from here, it would probably be fine. And it min rolled crit chance. Had that max rolled crit chance, I would have been happy. But here's the thing. For early game, that's pretty high overall rolled. I mean, it's not bad. So if you look here, we're missing 4% crit chance. It's technically a max rolled blue piece, but I'll go ahead and lock it. Again, sometimes a piece of gear, if you think maybe you could use it, if the gear score is bad but you have no wasted stats, that's not a problem. So for an HP scaling bruiser character or something like that, that piece could be usable. All right, and instantly min rolled effect res, and then if it doesn't go speed, we get rid of it. We'll go ahead and get rid of it. We don't need crit set with effect res and HP. There are very few characters that can utilize that. I think there's only one. This is another piece that could be very good. It has everything we need. Hit set with effectiveness, fantastic. Go in, +3 it. Okay, it went speed, that's fine. I'd rather have a higher. A 6 roll there is okay. So with this kind of gear, you're gonna have to make decisions on what the speed you want is again. Ideally, if this is on 14 speed after Reforge, I would use it. So if this went 2 roll, 4 roll, I'd be super happy with this piece of gear. It'd be that middle speed debuffer kind of piece. It went to 6 HP, it's not bad. Even if it goes high rolls, still, it could be used on even a slow tank piece. So now we did not hit anything too great. Overall, it's still not bad. It's 66 at +12. Actually, it's even lower. It's not great. But if it went speed, it could be 12 speed. This is a kind of piece that could definitely be usable, because it has no wasted substats. Everything on it would work for the kind of character we put it on. And we got rewarded. This is the gambles that people do not take, and it screws them over from getting gear. Okay, if it has no wasted stats, like you would think flat HP maybe is wasted, but you're going to be putting this on some kind of support character. So overall, if a piece can at least be used, you're going to gamble on it. So that's a gamble that paid off. Now that's a 93 equipment score piece. Perfect for a character like Angel Flight Angelica, any kind of like low middle speed debuffer style character. This is fantastic. Super happy with that. Okay. Now this chest, as you see, chests are easy. I mean, we're getting chests back to back to back. All right, go in. We're aiming for speed. We didn't get it. It needs a really high roll from here, but this is another kind of piece that it has no wasted rolls. It has defense, speed, flat HP, and flat HP percent. So for a tank character, there's nothing wasted here. So I'll go a little bit extra gamble because of the no waste. And we got 3. This could go 9, 13, could still be 16 speed. So let's gamble on it. And it went max there. So overall, this piece is technically even worse than the last piece. But for a tank character, your gear score isn't as important as a damage dealer generally, because you're not trying to reach specific stat thresholds. The stat threshold on damage dealers is generally the crit chance. You need to try to get as much stat to make sure you have 100% crit chance. The nice thing with debuffers or tank characters, there's no threshold that you have to hit for them to be usable. If they have a little bit less HP, it's not going to be the worst thing ever. But this is the kind of piece of gear I'll stop on. Maybe I'll end up upgrading it later if I find a use for it and I'm needing a piece of gear. Since it's already so close, might as well try to get the value out of it since it has no wasted stat. Now, this went 4 speed. The max I could go from here would be 8, 12, 15. 15 speed with crit damage and effectiveness. That's crit damage. 15 speed, I could use that. Let's go. And it went crit damage. Okay, now this can't be high speed. It'd be a PvE piece at best. And if it can be a PvE at best kind of piece, you get rid of it. So here, this piece, when did I get this? I don't even remember. This piece could be really good. I mean, it has everything you want. Like I said, with chests for damage dealers, you will always have a wasted stat. It's either going to be flat HP, it's going to be effect res, effectiveness, defense percent, or HP percent. There's 5 different wasted stat types you could have because there is no attack percent. So right here, just keep going. The idea is that's min roll. We'll give it one more shot because the max speed potential it can get is still 20 speed, correct? It could go 3 rolls left, 3 speeds is 12, plus 4 is 20, and it's already gone into 1. So this could still be a 20 speed piece of gear. That's the nice part about reds. And it failed, but that went into a max roll. So overall, this is like a bad purple piece of gear. I don't really want to continue with it. The max it could be with 2 more rolls would be 8, 12, 15. 15 speed. I was willing to gamble on the other piece, and we're done with chest, and I still have charms. Let's go for it. And that went a 2 roll again. That's tough. I'm going to go ahead and scrap this piece. It's not good enough. Even if it went 10, it could go 13 speed. It has 10 crit chance. It's technically not the worst. I'll lock it again. Okay, it's another piece we'll lock, and whenever we go into the building portion, I'll see if I could use it. If not, then I'll get rid of it. But whenever you're already at plus 12, it takes as much to go from plus 12 to 15 as it does to go from like level 1 to 12. It takes a lot more charms. This piece already 13, so I probably will just end up finishing it and utilizing it for a while since that's no wasted. But overall, that's the first half, guys. Gear crafting is so long. I'm trying to go quick, but I don't want to talk too fast. Okay, hopefully you guys are okay with the long form video. All right, next up, we're going to have our necklaces. Okay, so let's do 4 10 crafts of necklaces. This part's going to take even longer. So 4 10 crafts of necklaces. And then the common necklace rules are if it has a flat stat, again, always just get rid of your blues. If it has a flat stat like this with no speed, instant, get rid of. Okay, and then if it has no speed on attack percent, you get rid of. One thing I want to say early is you do not want attack set necklaces with crit chance and crit damage. Okay, you are losing value. Attack percent is worse on characters that you are aiming to critical hit on. Always, even if it's HP neck with crit chance and crit damage. The rule is if your character is going to crit, do not put them on attack main stat or HP main stat. Attack main stat and HP main stat are for non-critical hit characters, and they are for tank characters. Okay, you do not want to go for attack. The only exception to that rule is if it has speed and it's attack percent and it goes high speed. Sometimes that'll help you create a turn 1 character. Other than that, though, you're always going to want crit chance or crit damage necklaces for your characters that are going to be critical hitting. Okay, first thing. Second thing, if it has a flat stat with no speed, it's an instant trash. So this is going to be trash, this is going to be trash, this is going to be trash. Even though it has 2 max rolls, flat stat, no speed, you don't want it. This piece, it has defense, crit chance, and effect res. Not a great combination. We would have preferred that effect res to be HP, and then maybe we roll it, but overall, none of that's going to be good. This piece doesn't have speed on attack percent. Generally, always will be throwing that away. On crit set, you always will. If this was speed set, attack percent, and it had HP, defense, speed, or HP, defense, and really high rolls, you can roll it to check for gear score. Okay, hopefully we get one of those examples. This piece is the attack percent with speed, though. This would be perfect. Okay, this is the idea of what we want for an attack percent neck. Effectiveness set is probably just as good as speed set for these, because usually attack percents are going to be going on debuffing characters. Okay, so here are what we're keeping, and we extract the rest. Next up, we go to craft again. And we go back through. This piece, this is close to the example I was talking about, okay? It's attack percent, it has 7% effectiveness, 6% defense, and 5% HP. So this piece could be used because it has all the stats we want without speed, but as you see, it has no crit chance or crit damage, and it's on hit set mixed with the effectiveness. This could go on a debuffing low speed character, okay? And by low speed, like anything, I mean, it could still be up to 220 speed. You don't have to have speed on each piece of gear. If you have a piece of gear with no or low speed, but and high other stats, and you have another piece of gear, say your sword has insanely high speed but low other stats, the 2 pieces combined, you'll then average out the 2, and then if you have a 20 speed sword, a 0 speed neck, take that 20 speed divided by 2, you then have 10 average speed per piece. So it doesn't all have to be the same style of piece of gear to make it usable. If you have one piece that excels in one thing, another piece that excels in another thing, mixing them together sometimes creates that average out to where that character will still be good, depending on what you're aiming for. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and extract all these. This is flat defense with no speed. This is attack percent. Not great. Blue piece, get rid of immediately. This piece could be fantastic as attack percent, speed, and HP percent. So that could be fantastic. Next up, we have this. Get rid of that. And then this piece, I will roll it just for the sake of the video. And then this piece is speed, so we're going to roll it no matter what. All right, now we'll extract this. We got 2 more for the necks. The reason we do more necks and rings, again, is for our conversion boxes. We need to utilize our conversion boxes early game the best and fastest we can. So this piece of gear here, fantastic piece of gear. It has 0 speed, but it has max defense, max HP, and max crit chance. The dream here is to dodge attack and change it to speed. Okay, don't roll into attack at all. We'll change it to speed, and this could be absolutely amazing. Okay, this piece of gear has no speed. It's not great. If this was maybe defense, HP, and effectiveness, could roll it, but no speed, we get rid of. This piece is flat stat, no speed, instantly gone. Flat stat, no speed, instantly gone. This piece is flat stat, but it has speed, so we're going to keep it. So that is the overall batch here. We got 2 more. Let's go in. This is a long video. I'm sorry, guys. There's no fast way to do this without giving you like just simple things to look at and move on. So if you can't follow along with this with the gear guide, I don't know what else to do to help you. I gave you screenshots, I gave you examples, I walked through it. If you're still struggling with gear, maybe try watching a few times. If you can't figure it out, Epic 7 might be too much for you. Okay, I know I'm talking about a lot of information, but this isn't supposed to be consumed just in the first go. This is to be consumed over doing this multiple times and following back along with me. Okay, some of you may watch this video 3 times, and by the 3rd time, you're going to be cooking. You're going to be doing great because everything will start making sense. Right, now, this has effectiveness, has attack, and it has health. This piece, I could go for a penta roll. So with right side gear, going for penta rolls is a very common thing. You are going to want to, if it has decent substats, the thing is with penta rolls, that means it rolls in the same stat 5 times. Ideally, you want that with speed. But there are other examples. This could be attack percent. We could roll into attack percent 5 times. 5 times of 8 would be 45% attack before reforge. That's amazing. And it has flat attack effectiveness. We're going to go for it. This piece of flat stat with no speed, instantly gone. This has speed, and this has speed. Even though it's a flat stat, it has speed. That's the only thing we care about with the flat stats. Now we go ahead and extract. And I think we had 1 more, correct? I believe it was 1 more. I think it's 1 more. If I messed up, we'll do 1 less ring. Okay, so I'll go ahead and extract that, or extract all the blues. This has speed, we're rolling it. This has crit damage and HP. So I will tell you right now, crit chance set with crit chance is hard to use. So I don't really aim for these unless they're insane pieces, red pieces, or high speed pieces, because crit chance neck reforge gives you 60 crit chance. Plus, if you're on crit chance set, you get an additional 12. You're already sitting at 72 crit chance, and most characters start with at least 15. So that means none of your other gear can have crit chance at all on it, or you're just wasting your gear. Yeah, you're wasting rolls of your gear. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. That's the idea behind that. This is a flat with no speed. Get rid of it. So these are the only 2 pieces we're going to be working with out of here. Now we're going to extract these, and we're done with our... I think we're on pace. I might have did 1 too many, though. All right. Let's go in and upgrade these. So this one is just a simple speed check. Flat main stats, just a speed check. We didn't get speed in the first 2, so we can do the math here. The most we can get, there's 3 rolls left. That is 12 potential speed. Add that to the 2, that's 14. With the 3 rolls, you get an additional 3 from Reforge. It goes up to 17. Okay, so is 17 speed worth it for us? As a new player, it is. I'm going. Didn't hit it. All right, we get rid of it and go to the next. This piece, we're just aiming for 1 roll for speed, and we didn't hit it. So not gonna worry about it. The reason you're more likely to take gambles on reds for 17 is because the min it can do is 2, is the idea behind that. So this piece could still be 19 speed. It has effect res. It's on a terrible set, but 19 speed for a broken set with HP percent main stat could be great. Didn't hit it. That's fine. It saves us charms. Sometimes when pieces of gear fail, it's a good thing. I mean, you don't want to roll trash all the time. That is beautiful. Please do it again. 4 speed max. It could be 23 speed. It didn't. It can now only be 11, 15, 18 speed. So 18 speed is the max. And it went attack. So this piece of gear, it's tough, but I have to get rid of it. It started with attack, then it min rolled, and it split up the stats too much. You want crit damage next, though. Crit damage next are the go-to what you want. This piece wants speed, could still be 20 speed. And then it failed. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. If it cannot be above 18 speed on crit set, I'm definitely not keeping it. Next up, we have this piece. This is a guaranteed multi-level check. Went crit damage, that's good. Overall, pretty high rolled too. Went for speed, awesome. We go again, and I'm going to show you guys how to get more charms. So with this piece of gear, it has crit damage, has speed, and has effectress. Not many characters that could use this. Now, the idea, though, it can still get 2 rolls, so it could go 11, 15, 18. 18 speed set's fantastic, so we got to gamble on it and go. It went 9, so this could now go 13, 16, right? So we roll into it again, 13, 16. We're going for it. If it doesn't go, it is what it is. It did. There we go. See, we gambled. It didn't go 13, but this is still a 15 speed piece of gear. That's usable. 15 speed, that's fine. Yes, as effect res, we could change the effect res to attack percent though. So change the effect res to attack percent since it only hit it one time. It's still decent value. Great piece of gear. I use that. New account, always use that. Next up, I'm going to show you now your charms. Okay, see, I'm running low on charms. I'm going to go in. I'm going to grab some of these. Let's grab 5 of these for now. And I also want to show you every single week. The reason we're extracting this gear is because you go into your Alchemist Steeple, keep all your speed charms, and then extract your others. Okay, this is how you are going to get a bunch of your charms every single week. So we want to make sure we have enough extraction materials so where we can go in. You can get 20 purple right side charms and 20 purple left side charms every single week from this on Mondays. So when arena resets, the first thing I do every week is sprint into this, and I am grabbing as many charms as I possibly can. So you always want to save your speed ones though. We're going to use those at the very end of this crafting session. All right. I don't need these, I don't think, because we have plenty of boot charms. I'll make sure I come in though. You need to make sure you get this done every single week. It is super, super value. Okay. Now let's go back and continue upgrading. Now we got a few more charms. We'll go into this. This is just a speed check right away. If it misses speed, it missed speed, but it could still be 19. I'll go ahead and go for it. 19 speed would be great. It didn't hit it. So let's get rid of it. Next up, we have this. This piece could be an absolutely amazing piece, so I'm going to save it for a roll after. This is just a speed check again. This is crit set on defense. I don't want this, even if it's 19 speed, but as a new player, 19 speed could be so nice. It's so hard not to just take the gambles. Those of you guys that are going to follow the rules in different ways, that's fine. You see, I'm already breaking my rules just because I know what the piece could be. I got to go for it. This piece is hit set the fastest it could be since started with 2 is only 17. I'll get rid of it. This piece now, though, we're praying this piece could be super fast, and it has flats, but overall it could still be great. Flat defense is fine because defense could be used on debuffer. So mages scale better off defense percent too, and most mages are debuffers. Not most, but a lot of them are. So this would be a great piece for one of those. It gives a ton more survivability. Now, this piece of gear has 3 rolls left and could be 2 or 4 speed per roll. This is still 19 speed potential, right? You got to go for it. 19 speed potential hit set with really no wasted stats. It's now dead. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. It has 2 flats, but the thing with this is if it went high speed, those flats are fine value. It's not the highest gear score, but it's super, super usable, and that's all that matters as a new player. Can I use this piece of gear? All right, that missed speed the first time. It's a flat, so we're only aiming for speed. Missed speed again, so again, we'll do the calculation. Has 3 rolls left, 9, 12, and 15. 4 speed apiece, 12. 12 plus 3 is 15, and the 3 rolls is 18. Still be 18 speed, gotta go for it. Gotta go plus 9, and it hit it. Okay, so that means we gotta go again. It could still be 18. It missed it. Okay, so now we can get rid of it. But if you don't take those gambles, you'll never have speed. That is one thing I try to tell everybody. Some of those pieces hit quite often, surprisingly. All right, so the idea with this is we're just trying to penta roll or get as many rolls into attack as possible. We already missed the first one. That's a terrible start. And the second one went to HP. I'm immediately going to go ahead and get rid of it. All right, that's all it was. It's already done for me. Yes, that piece could maybe be usable, but I will get better pieces. This piece, we're praying, though. This piece could be absolutely amazing. That's the only stat we didn't want to hit. Okay, it rolled into it once. It rolled into it one time. It could be change stoned. It's going to be lesser value change stone, though. So we've already lost score on this piece. If it hits it again, it's done. Now I'm going to tell you about the equipment reset stones. So if you have a piece of gear that is really good starting, you can reset it with stones. Those stones are pretty rare. You get them occasionally. But if you ever have a piece of gear that starts with max rolls, looks super good, and just fails miserably, lock it, maybe put it in your extra inventory. And then whenever you do get some of those stones, go fish through your extra inventory. You want to keep your inventory as clean as possible. But go fish through there, see if there's a piece that you want to reset, and you could try it again. Okay, that is a great example of a reset potential piece. All right, now this. The idea of a reset potential piece is a stat or a piece that has 4 of the perfect stats. So say that piece had speed and instead of flat attack. That would be ideal because no matter what, you are not going to have any wasted stat. All you're aiming for is higher rolls, or at least middle rolls. But with that one, if we hit flat again on it, it's going to need to be reset again. You can reset a piece up to 5 times, but the item is very, very rare. So they do not give them out a lot at the current moment. This piece is just gear score check. We're trying to dodge effect res, and it min rolled at the beginning. I'm immediately getting rid of it, okay? Now, 2 more things and we're done, okay? I promise. I'm going to go ahead and grab some more ring charms. I saved these boxes for the first crafting session. 2 more ring charms, and then we're going to do epic crafts. I'm going to show you conversions, and we are done. Okay, so this, again, immediately get rid of all blue gear. And then this is mineral city. This is flat stat, no speed, same as necklaces. This is flat stat, no speed. So the HP percent with attack and crit damage, but also defense, and its hit set. Doesn't make a lot of synergy sense. It's like trying to be damaged, but also trying to be bulk. I don't see a use case for that unless we dodge flat attack. It does have 2 high rolls though, but the hit set kills it for me. And this is effect res on hit set, so it has effectiveness, effect res split because of the set, basically, and it also has effect res there. Terrible, terrible. Every piece is terrible. All right, we go again. Now here, this is flat set with speed. We'll check it. This is attack percent with effectiveness and HP. We could roll that to check because it is high rolled. If we hit a low roll or HP, it's dead immediately. The problem is right side charms are very, very hard to get. So you usually don't take gambles like you do left side. Okay. The only gambles I would take on left side gear is for speed. Now this one is effectiveness, but it doesn't have speed. Generally effectiveness with no speed we don't keep, especially if it has any kind of crit stat. If it has full bulk stats with effectiveness with no speed, you can try it, but I'm not going to mess with this one personally. Or am I? I'll save it actually, because it only has crit chance and we could change that. If it goes all into defense and attack, it could be used for a couple characters. I'll save it. This piece though has flat HP, no speed, get rid of it. So we're only rolling 3 of the pieces here. All right, and then I'm going to save that. I'm not going to roll it for this, I don't think. I don't want to waste my charms. Okay, is this the last ring, I think? Or do we have one more? Here's a piece of gear. Finally, we got one. 1 speed piece of gear. Most people don't roll this for some reason. This could still be 21 speed. This has like almost the same chance of hitting 21 speed as a 4 starting speed piece would, right? So why would you're always going to check this. A 21 speed, I've gotten 2 20 speed purple pieces that start with 1 speed. So you always check that. This piece of gear is defense percent. It has max roll HP, almost max roll crit chance, and it has effectiveness, which is going to be a wasted roll, and flat HP won't be the best. So I'm not going to roll that. We're going to extract all purples. This has speed. We're going to check it. This is a piece that, again, when it has effectiveness, you really don't want crit chance or crit damage, especially if it doesn't have speed. If it has speed, maybe, but without speed, you don't want that. And this piece of gear is defense percent with effectiveness, but also damage subs. You don't really want it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and extract it. And we're doing 4 boots. I don't know. I'm just going to stop there, okay? Maybe I miscounted or something at some point, but let's just go ahead and try to roll this. This is the piece of gear I said. I'll save it just in case. This piece is going to be a guaranteed +2 check. Effectiveness rings are very hard to come by with decent speed. You're happy with even like 15 speed effectiveness ring. So this is still potential 19. We're going to go again. It didn't hit it. Here's the thing with effectiveness rings though. You want to only gamble on reds generally. Reds are just a safer bet because you're going to get more stat out of it. But if this were to at +15 be a 14 speed effectiveness ring, I could use that forever. I'd always be able to use that. So as defense and as flat attack, it's not great, so I'm going to get rid of it. If it was red though, with this current stat line, with an extra stat here, I would roll it because anything above 12 speed for an effectiveness ring, you'll be super happy with. You'll find a use, okay? Effectiveness rings are annoying and very hard to come by. Okay, so here we go. This piece immediately dead, flat stat, had speed, didn't roll speed. And then we got this piece for speed. This one, it could be 19 speed no matter what. We're just going to check it twice since it missed the first roll, and we'll get rid of it. Next piece is a 1 speeder. We roll it. Please, I want one that's 20 speed. Okay, that's a good start. Come on. Please do this for the showcase. Dang. I want to do a gear guide where I roll a 1 speed piece that hits 20, because that will make everybody realize that you should be gambling on them. Even 18 speed on that would be great. All right, last one that went speed. It could still be 21. It didn't go speed. It could still be 9, 13, 16 on a debuffing set with effectiveness and hit set. Problem now is that 2 rolled. I think it's dead. Okay, so let's go 11 at the end. Reforge to 13. Attack percent. Not great overall. Really low rolls, low gear score. But I'm going to sell it. So rings overall did not go super good. But as you see, we have 7 epic crafts currently. All right, lastly, we're going to do boots. Okay, boots are the easiest. So it's going to be fast. Okay, if it's not speed main stat, it's dead. If it's blue, it's dead. If it's flat stat, it's dead. You don't speed check boots. And if it doesn't have stats that match, so if you're going to be getting attack percent, you want very few HP percent, defense percent, and attack percent boots. Very few. Okay. If it's going to be an HP on crit set, it needs to have crit chance, crit damage. If it's a crit set attack, it needs to have crit chance, crit damage. It's very, very easy. That's flat stat, no speed. This is defense, purple. I don't want it. Boots are just an extracting form, and we're going to be using a lot of our blue boxes on boots. So here we go. This piece of gear you could roll. If you hit a single flat HP, you get rid of it. But I personally never really roll blue boots or purple boots if it's not speed main stat. You're going to end up getting pieces that are better. Now we finally have a speed main stat piece, and it has attack and crit damage and a mineral defense. That's not good enough. Boots are boots are depressing. We'll just say that now. Okay, boots are depressing to go through. You're just crafting them almost always to throw them away. So here's another speed main stat as flat, flat, flat. Instantly dead. I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, why are we doing boots? Okay. The reason why we're doing boots is now that we have finished all of our normal crafts. So I guess we were supposed to do one more of that. So what we're going to do, we'll do one more boot, okay? I'll do one more boot, and then I'm going to grab a few extra crafting materials. So I think I did mess up at some point. So going through this, any flat stats we get rid of. This is defense main stat, but it has attack. Doesn't really make sense. This has attack on HP percent. We would never keep that. Like I said, generally, you just keep red boots for anything. It's not speed main stat, but if it's speed main stat, you can keep some other. This one's flat HP, which doesn't matter if that's speed, though. Flat stat, you're always getting rid of. So we extract. All right, so now that that's all done, we have 440 left. What I want you to do from here is we are going to take our epic crafts, we're going to split it evenly between swords, helmets, and chest. Okay, those are the number one things we always go for. Eventually, you can move over and start epic crafting some right side gear, but the reason we do left side is there's a 10% higher chance that is going to be a usable piece of gear. It's so much easier to epic craft right side, or left side, sorry. So let's go ahead and do this, and I will show you conversions. Okay, so we always are going to do speed set as new players. Eventually, you're going to do other sets. This piece of gear has effectiveness, effector split. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to roll that. No speed with that split, no point. Next up, we got this. This has speed. Definitely rolling it. I'll do this account already has a sword, so as you guys start rolling gear and whatever gear is good, you'll start knowing what to go for next. So since this account I know already has a banger sword, we're going to be aiming more for the other pieces until we get a banger helmet, then we'll go for chest, or if we get a banger chest, we'll go for helmets. So this piece of gear, overall it has attack, almost max roll, crit chance, it is a max roll attack, and it has flat attack. So this piece of gear, I could change the effect res if it goes high into crit chance or attack. So I'll roll it. All right, it only has one dead stat there. Next up, we have effect res, health, flat defense. Same idea. Only one dead stat is the effectiveness. It is effect res, effectiveness split, but since 3 of the stats synergize in 2 different ways, defense, HP, and effectiveness is synergy, and effect res, defense, and health is synergy. So it has 2 different chances to be a great piece of gear. I will show that as we're rolling it. We're almost done, okay? All right, this has speed. We're going to keep it. Next up, we got this. This piece overall is kind of low rolled, but it has no wasted stats. So this is HP defense. So for a bruiser damage dealer character, it could super high roll from here. We got to try it. And lastly, the last chest before I show you conversions. We got a 4 speed start. Okay, so let's go in and roll our last little bit of gear here. I'm going to start with the sword. So let's go +6 right away. And we rolled speed and crit chance max. Okay, please go speed. Please go speed. Went crit chance again. Now we're kind of praying for speed because it's overall kind of dead as a flat stat. And okay, it's not dead. It's no matter what, this is high crit chance. We could change the health to attack percent, or we could change the effectiveness to health percent, and it's a usable piece of gear. I'll just level it up. We just pray for either speed or crit chance now. I mean, that's a lot of crit chance. That's a banger. Okay, so no matter what, this will have kind of a dead stat depending on what we do with it. In my mind, what I would do is change the effectiveness to HP. That way, if it's on an HP scaling damage dealer, the flat stat is still usable. Okay, if I were to change the health to attack percent, then we're going to end up with 5% or 6% effectiveness on it. And usually your damage dealers for PvP don't need effectiveness. You don't try to build them on that. Very few characters you actually put a little effectiveness on. So it's a good piece of gear though. 25 crit chance is fantastic, and it max rolled the speed. Okay, very happy with that. Next up, we got this. All right, so effect res. That is a one. Wait, no, this is just a speed check piece. All right, this could still be 15, 18 speed because it's a red. It has 3 rolls left, could get plus 12. And now we are getting a little bit low on charms, so I do have boxes just in case. And it did not roll speed. This piece is just everywhere. Get rid of it. Next up, this helmet. This helmet, we're just praying we dodge effect res and flat attack. And we did, but it min rolled attack. So from here, it needs to max roll one of the two. And it didn't. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. Flat stats are not generally good. You don't want to hit them and then the min roll into attack. This piece could still be usable if you're desperate, but we've got some overall pretty good pieces in this tiny little session. That's not a big deal. That is beautiful. Now we want to dodge effectiveness, though. Okay, that's fine. We don't want to hit flat again. So we want to dodge effectiveness and flat now. That's huge. We can hit a flat again since this rolled so high. Nice. Okay, come on. Go either effectiveness or HP. Either one, I'll be super, super happy. Just don't go effectiveness. Yes. Oh, that's a really great piece of gear. Okay, so the idea here is since it dodged the effectiveness, now we can change effectiveness out for speed or defense percent. Either one would be fantastic value. So this is a great tank Soul Weaver, slow Soul Weaver piece of gear. All right, beautiful piece. Very happy. Next up, we have this chest. We'll go ahead and go plus 6. Didn't hit speed, so it could still be 17 speed though, because it has 3 rolls left. And we got to go for it. All right, 17 speed set. I'll take all day. 8 went. Okay, could still be 17 speed. We go again. And it didn't hit it. Okay, that piece is gone. Yes, it has no wasted stat, but we already have other pieces so far in the session that are better, so it doesn't make sense. This piece has to max roll, as you see, as a min roll and overall low rolls. It min rolled. That piece is instantly dead. Okay, that's not good. Now, next up, we got this piece, praying for speed. That's not speed, but it's a max roll. Okay, that's a 7 roll. That's rolling really high. That's a min roll, but since it rolled high on the other two, I could change the crit damage to HP. It double min rolled. Okay, so here. This is the kind of piece of gear. It's the last one I'm upgrading for chests. This is why I want you guys to have a big stockpile of charms. So right here, I could gamble. It could go 12 speed. It's 15 speed set, and I could have HP. The usable piece of gear. Okay, I'm going for it. So last piece of gear we have of this batch. So I just know I'll need to go farm some extra charms before next batch. Okay. And we didn't hit it. Okay, so that was a not good gamble. It did not pay off. So if we reforge this, you see it's 10 speed. Had I gone 4 speed right there, though, it would have been all the way up to 14 speed, which is a perfect speed for a support, like middle tier support speed character. But now it's just overall really bad. I don't know. 85 equipment score after reforge. Change this. It wouldn't even break 90. I'll hold on to it now for now, though, as a new player. Some of this gear that you fails, like I said, can go on PvE characters. It can go on as like a placeholder piece of gear until you get the better one. Upgrading gear, a lot of times you don't need to sell it right away unless it's actually terrible. All right, now we're done with Epic Crafts. There's one more thing left to do, okay? One more thing, and that is going to be the equipment conversions. So if you go into your inventory, if you're a new player, you're going to have these blue boxes here. Blue boxes, I made a slide for it. The best value you can get from blue boxes is going to be speed, main stat, boots. You're going to have your crit damage next. We'll do 2 of them. You're going to have your HP percent rings. We'll do 2 of them. And next, HP percent ring and neck. And then attack percent rings. I'll do 2 of them. I don't know if we'll be able to do them all right now because it's going to depend, obviously, total on how many we have. Any blue ones you have, you can do extractions for those too. So I'll go ahead and do this sword. And it has speed. We'll roll it. Next up, do we have any helmet? Nope. Do we have any chest? Nope. So now it is all in on this. So right here, speed set, always if you can. For crit damage, going for crit set's okay too. So this one has no speed. Overall is not very good, right? It has a bunch of defensive stats. So I'm going to go ahead and extract it. And we're going to go one more crit damage. And the way this works is you can see depending on the amount of charms you put in, you have a different percent to get each one. So if you want to make sure you're getting a counter set piece, always go for counter set there, all right? You always want to put all counter set in. Or if you want speed, always go all speed. Okay, so let's go ahead and craft this. And I don't care, either one would be fine for this. Gosh, this is annoying. And this piece of gear sucks as well. Okay, both of them did not go very good. Nothing I could do about it, but extractions, at least you get to choose the right side main stats. So I'll go ahead and extract it. We have this crit set one, usually with any, crit chance one. Usually with any crit chance, what I try to do is wait until I do other sets, because crit chance on, say, destruction set and other different types of gear is way better. So now we're going to go to a ring set. So with rings, go ahead and we're going to try for an HP, or let's do for an HP speed ring. And again, not great. Not great at all. We'll do HP. I mean, I could do hit set HP. It's not the best, but it would be usable if it rolls speed. Has speed, has effect res. Ooh, this is tough. All right, it's kind of everywhere, but it has speed, so it's something we can roll at least. And then we have attack. Attack, usually you'll go for speed and you'll go for crit chance. Let's see. Usually don't really want attack on your effectiveness ones. That piece is terrible. And do we have enough to do another one? Not really. I'm not going to waste. So we're going to go to boots now and speed main stat boots. This is why most of your blue boxes early game should probably go towards speed. Okay, those speed main stat boots. So this is a piece of gear, has health, has effect res. With boots, if it has 2 synergistic stats, you're going to roll it, okay? If it has 2 stats of any kind that are synergistic, boots are hard, okay? You want to get any kind of boot you possibly can. Generally, you want to do as many speed ones as possible, just because it has a higher chance of being usable. So right here, this piece looks terrible. It could end up being a banger. All right, it has min roll. We're still rolling it. All right, if it rolls max attack, it's good. Rolls max effectiveness, it's good. If it does a mix of effectiveness and attack, it's good. It's usable. All right, your overall goal, again, just get usable pieces from this. And then eventually you'll get the good stuff, but boots are hard. All right, this piece is solid, though. So we have attack, health. There's a bunch of ways this could roll. It could roll defense and health. And even though it's min rolls and with a crit chance, it could be used for a bruiser character. Now, if it rolls all attack and crit chance, then it can be changed out for the health here. I could change it to crit damage. It's great for a damage attack percent scaling character. Okay. Now, if it rolls HP, attack, and defense, I could change the crit chance then to effectiveness, and it could be good as well. So there's a bunch of different ways that could be good. Now, whenever you're doing non-speed set boots, though, the problem is with this, it has to roll damage stats, which it did. Oh, ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so it has flat attack, has crit chance, and has attack. The defense percent is going to be the wasted stat. Hopefully, we dodge defense percent, and we could change that to crit damage. Right? But there are the conversions. Boots are the most important, but you can go for some of the rings and stuff as well. The first thing we'll do is start with the sword. See if it gets any speed. It has effectiveness, effector, split. So it's basically already dead. It could still be 17 speed. I'll go for it. Since, again, we're at the end of the session. That 2 speed rolled. It's too low. Go ahead and sell, get my charms back. Now we have this ring. This ring is just a speed check. That's all we care about is going for speed. Didn't hit it. But it has effectors. Hold on. It could roll high effectors. Flat HP. It has synergy. It went 2 speed. That's not good enough. Okay. Well, Death Dealer Ray, though? Hold on. It could go 10 speed here. Let's see. It didn't, but it's 20 effect res. That's tough. Okay, maybe I'll find a use for it. Overall, hit set with effect res. Most characters don't need both. Again, talked about that. It's not great. I'm just going to sell it. I'm not going to find a home for Airwell. I'm going to hold on to it. Never mind. All right, so this piece, like I said, if it goes into health and effect res, this could be great. And it did. Keep going to health and effect res. Didn't go into health and effect res. Dang. Don't hit another dead stat. Hit another dead stat. I'm going to go again because we could now change the effect res to defense. No, it's dead. It's dead, that piece of gear. No saving it. Again, you're going to just try to be as copium as possible, if you know what that word means, with your boots. If it has any chance of being usable, just use it for now. Okay, this low rolling effectiveness, don't care. Keep going effectiveness. Keep going effectiveness. That is as many low rolls as possible, but this would be usable on a debuffing character. Okay, so go effectiveness again. Dang. Okay, I'm gonna lock these boots though. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll put these pieces of boots on a character and I'll be able to use them all the way up to champ RTA. All right, boots are speed main step boots are needed, and a lot of them are needed. Okay, that's a big roll. We like that. That's a low roll. We don't like that, but let's see. Another min roll. Okay, it needs to go attack or crit chance from here. Max rolled HP, attack or crit chance from here, or I am crying. Okay, it's split up everywhere. I don't really know exactly what I'll do with this piece. As you can see, it's still 94 reforged though. That's not bad for a boot with all those min rolls because it max rolled or high rolled through everything but the crit chance. 94 boots. We'll use those. We'll use those on something too. Okay. Now this, go ahead and +3 it. We're praying for not that. No more flat attack, please. Okay, this is a min roll city. Okay, that's fine. If that was a 4 roll at least. Nice. Okay. Please go attack percent. Please go attack percent. Please go attack percent. I mean, that's fine too. Wait, that's a really good boot. Let's go. So the idea here, as you see, it's not the highest, but it has no wasted stats. So it has attack, it has a 24 crit chance, and we could change the defense to crit damage. That is beautiful. I'm super happy with that. So now the session is done. All right. So we have a couple pieces that we could finish up if we want to. I'll wait until maybe there's a character like they're not good pieces, but sometimes you need that placeholder gear just to get the character usable for now, and then you'll get a better piece later. Overall, that's the crafting session. So hopefully going through it step by step, you guys are able to follow along, get an idea. I know it's a lot to take in. If you have any questions, you can go back to the slides. There's a lot of resource available. The idea with this is go back through, do this one, come back. Anything you're confused on, ask in the Discord, and then come back and try it again. Okay, and just keep following every 10,000 crafting. It's impossible to teach everything in one go. And there's also stuff I couldn't even cover. And we did this for an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, all I can do is give you a bunch of pictures. And I mean, that's basically what you have with a video format. I don't know how to do the gear guide. This is the best I got. I tried. I put a lot of time into this and prepping everything and figuring out exactly a game plan. So hopefully it helped. Give me some feedback if you want. I just don't know what else I can do to make a solid gear guide. Thanks for watching. It's been Mitch, our Deity. Hopefully you got some good pieces. As you see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 12 pieces. Okay? 12 pieces and some maybe usable pieces outside that. 12 pieces isn't bad. I mean, 12 pieces for 10,000. For every 1,000 materials, got a usable piece of gear. That's good. I mean, I'm super happy with that. So we go through another 10,000. That's, I mean, 12 pieces is 2 fully geared characters. So we do this again in a couple days after we farm up and maybe build a few more characters from there. That is the process of Epic 7. So hopefully this helped. I will see you all later. Peace out.